Yay! So here I am today with Miss Viv Adcock, a certified facilitator of access consciousness. How does it get any better than this? Yay!
Yay!
So I have a few questions that I wanted to ask you so that people can get to meet you and as a certified facilitator. So you're based in the Sunshine Coast at the moment, and due to COVID-19, and it's like you can't travel interstate, but we are doing lots and lots of classes online. So Viv is literally available to the world. So first question I wanted to ask you is, how did you find out about access consciousness?
Well, I was writing my own workshops at the time, and I wanted to do something on money because I knew that there was something with money in me. And a girlfriend of mine said, "You need to read this book," and it was "Money Isn't the Problem, You Are" by Gary Douglas. And I ordered it, and a CD, actually an MP3 arrived, but the MP3 was on a disc. Remember those days when we used to have
I do, yeah. It's old school.
Yeah, and I just went, oh, I don't have anything to play an MP3 because this was like 15 years ago. And she said, no problem, I'll drive up a book from from Brisbane where the shop is. So she drove the book
Wow.
up, and she said, have you ever had your bars run? And I went, no. And that was it. I had one bar session. I read The Money Isn't the Problem, You Are book, and I was hooked. Good, hook, line and sinker.
That's fabulous. I'm actually impressed that someone drove from Brisbane up to the sunny coast to deliver a book for you. That's
Yes.
better than Australia Post. Can I just say hello? So,
Yeah.
okay, so what made you choose to become a certified facilitator?
That's a really cool story. So shortly after having my bars run, I went, oh my God, I want more of this. What is it? It's just, there weren't words. I just felt better than I'd ever felt in my life. And I flew down to Phillip Island for a holiday, and I had the bars chart in the seat pocket, you know, the tray. And I was
Yeah.
running the bars on the plane going, I wonder if this works on myself, being a total humanoid. And I went to bed, and I woke up the next morning about 4 o'clock, and I had this voice in my head saying, you're going to be a certified facilitator and you're going to take this to England. And I went, can I meet you halfway? Can I just be a CF? But I just knew, Simone, I just knew from getting off the table that first time after having my bars run, it was just everything in my body just lit up and went, yes, this is what I've been asking for. There was just no hesitation in my world.
You know, it's funny because you say that as well. And I did a live, a Facebook Live with Dane here, who's the co-creator of Access Consciousness last week, I think it was. And I was telling this story about how when I met him, it was the first seminar I ever went to with Gary Douglas, and it was called Out of the Box. And I was just enthralled. I mean, this man was talking about no judgment, basically, like living a life with no judgment. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, that would be like a dream come true, you know? And I was getting so excited. And Dane ran my bars at the back of the room. And it's weird. Like, I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to work with this guy for the rest of my life. So you going, okay, I'm going to be a CF. And it's like, you know, and doing and hearing this, it's like, I just knew, oh, this guy's going to be in my life. Like, for the rest of my life, I'm going to work with him. I'm going to create with him. So it's interesting to see how much you know about what you're creating as your future, and yet how many times that you don't actually acknowledge it. So
yeah, and the other thing to add to that too is, I mean, like most people, I tried every modality. You know, I dyed my hair purple and been off to a spiritual healers retreat, and you know, all of those things were great along the way, but there was just something totally different in my fibers that just knew, okay, you know, this is what I've been looking for. And that was 14, 15 years ago now, and I haven't even looked at anything else. You know,
no, me either. No.
nothing even. The thing with access is it is so broad. It touches into every area. There's nothing that the tools of access can't facilitate change with. I mean, where else do you get that?
Yeah, well, I even remember having a conversation with Gary one day, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access, because my dad, who I absolutely loved and adored, and he's passed on now probably about 6-7 years ago, and he was a devout Catholic. And there was one of the things I was looking at is, I mean, I love my dad. When I was 16, I went, Dad, I don't want to go to church anymore. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not even listening, you know. And he went, okay, Simone. He said, you don't have to go. He said, I'll pray for you. And I was like, great, thanks, But I also very much honored how he was a devout Catholic. Just because I wasn't choosing it didn't mean that he was wrong for choosing it. So that was one of the first questions I ever asked Gary, because I asked him about religion and how access consciousness was with religion. He said, consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. And he said, all I would ask is that you are willing to see the truths and the lies in everything. And that's not just religion. It's like truths and lies in relationship, truths and lies in family, in business, people, your friends, etc. And I'm not talking about walking down the street going, you lied. It's like, no, don't buy everything as real. Like one of the things, Gary, I remember one of the first seminars that I ever went to with him, and he sat there and I loved it. He went, don't trust me, trust you. I was like, oh, thank God someone's not telling me to trust them. So I say that to you if you're listening there too. It's like, don't trust me. Don't trust Viv. Trust you. Trust that you know.
Yeah, so, and it's totally non-linear, non-logical. But when you know something, there isn't a mustard seed of doubt. There's nowhere that you kind of second guessing. It's just green lights all the way. So
never heard of that saying, a mustard seed of doubt.
Not even a poppy seed of doubt.
Even a poppy seed of doubt, my love. So what's your, I know this is not a very easy question, but what's your go-to tool? Like what's your favorite tool at the moment? Because I know mine change all the time. I'm like, so OCD, ADHD, autistic, blah, So what's your favorite tool at the moment?
I think my staple that's probably navigated me through everything is how does it get any better than this? The old me, BA, before Access, was, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I'm so messed up. I can't get anything right. And it must be my fault and my problem, rather than, hang on, what's right about this? What's right about me? And how does it get any better than this? So everything's a possibility. And that's one thing I'm eternally grateful for the tools of Access and the inspiration that you guys are too, of what if every problem is a possibility in disguise? What if every problem is actually, like for me with the money thing, I thought I was so messed up with money. I thought I was the worst person on the face of the planet. And as the truth appears, it turns out I'm actually quite good with money and creating it and being with it, which is the total opposite of what my father just rammed down my throat every day. You're useless. You never save your money. You always spend it. There was just this constant feedback about what I was doing wrong with money, rather than what's occurred for me in the awareness through Access and using the tools is, what if I have capacities beyond that I've never actually acknowledged, that if I acknowledged it would allow money to show up effortlessly? And that became my reality of, quite a few years ago. So for me, it's how does it get any better than this? If anything's going wrong or pear-shaped, it's like, well, how does it get any better than this? Because it isn't wrong or pear-shaped. It's just a possibility.
Yeah. And also I want to add to that too, because so many people, when something is, going like, and it's like, how does it get any better than this? Asking the question, you allow the universe to show you something different. Now, here's the thing I would say too, is when things are going awesome, how does it get any better than this? Because we don't do it. We don't ask questions when things are going awesome, because we think, oh yeah, nailing it, got it. And it's like, no, what if now? How does it get any better than this?
Yeah, and I'm a bit of a visual person, and when I explain this to clients, it's like most people assume and just accept that life is like a stock chart. It's always going up and down, rather than what if you had a trajectory that just constantly climbs? You might level out for a little while or go through some turbulence, but using the tools, you actually pop out through the clouds and your trajectory is to something greater. So how to get better than this is, right, okay, well, you've got really cool stuff showing up. How does it get better than this?
That's beautifully said. I like that. That's awesome. So what would you like to see change in the world?
Oh, my number one thing is kindness.
Okay. Tell me more.
I have a real affinity with animals, horses, dogs, and years ago, when we had bumper stickers were all the rage. And I remember sitting there once having lunch on my own, and a car went past with Gandhi's quote saying, be the change you want to see in the world. And I went, what change would I like to see in the world? And I went, I would love people to be kinder to each other. You know, it doesn't matter the color of their skin or what their religious background is or their age or whatever their beliefs are. It's like, what if we can just be kind to each other? And like you say, no judgment. And I went,
what a random question.
Yeah.
That sticker you saw, was that one of mine?
Do you know, can I just show you something which may make you laugh?
Yeah. So here's what I'm telling you why she's getting this is because I used to have a company called Good Vibes for You. And one of the stickers that we did, and we sold like not billions, I'm about to literally exaggerate, but thousands and thousands of stickers, like bumper stickers. And one of them, I did have the Gandhi quote of be the change you want to see in the world. So I think that would be cool. But anyway, go ahead. What's your show and tell, Viv?
It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. Well, BA, before Access, I was a kinesiologist, and I've always wanted to show this, Simone. Here we are. I'm actually in my room at the clinic at the moment, and this is one of my trusty kinesiology manuals that I still refer to. Can you read what that says?
I can. Go with the flow.
And can you see the website on the bottom of it?
Good Vibes for You, which is doesn't exist anymore, kids, so don't go check it out. So that's funny. Because that's when I met Gary, and I remember him looking at all my stickers and that, because all I wanted to do was I wanted to change the world. I was like, I wanted to change the way people were with each other, the way they perceived the world, the way they perceived each other. So that's why I created Good Vibes for You. And we had like one of those stickers, you know, go with the flow too, would be something I would say a little bit differently now. I would be more like follow what you know, or like the energy, because like as Viv was mentioning before, you know, your knowing is that quick, you know. So that's funny though. I bet you it was like, you know, because I don't know anyone else who was doing those stickers at that time. So anyway, there you go. What's that?
Something you said ages ago, I think probably when I first met you, was, you know, you were sitting on the tube in London going, my God, you know, I want to increase the happiness quota in the world. Yeah. I'm just, that, you know, there's such a different possibility. I caught up with a friend this morning and had a walk in the national park, and she's been on her own for the last 6 weeks or 2 months or however long it's been. You know, and she practices Tao. She's a Taoist, T-A-O. And she said, oh, my God, I've really struggled and I got really lonely. And I rang my daughter and, you know, she had to drive up from Brisbane and get special permission from the police. And she said, you look like you're doing pretty good. She said, what do you do? You know, what's your secret? And I said, well, here's the doorway. It opens, you know. And I'm like, well, you know, it's a muscle you cultivate, that you choose to be happy. You choose to do things and add things to your daily life that make you happy. And it's almost the antithesis of how most people live, which, you know, some people love it and some people hate the fact that you're happy. I have just one other thing. I live with a friend of mine a few years ago, and she said, that's the thing about you bloody Access people, you're always so happy.
You're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Should I apologize?
So we actually have a website that we actually created. So here's the thing, okay? happinessisjustachoice.com. So we created this website and we created a whole lot of product on there, because in Access Consciousness, we have 3 companies. We have one in the US, one in Europe, and one in Australia. And we don't have as many classes yet going on run through the Australian company. So, you know, myself and a bunch of the staff that work here in Australia, we said, what could we come up with that we could create a revenue that we weren't relying on myself, Brendan, Gary, Dane to do a class here? So we came up with happinessisjustachoice.com, and there's a whole lot of product on there too, like the caps and the T-shirts, etc. And it's a lot of fun. And it's very funny when you wear it, because it actually does make people happy. Like they start to look at it and go, damn, why am I actually choosing unhappy when happiness is actually just a choice? Because you get to choose.
And that concept really, you know, you can see people's world just go, what? Because it is just a choice. You can choose to, you know, the old saying of, well, which side of the bed did you get out of this morning? You know, or Mr. Grumpy Pants, rather than, no, hang on. You know, how does it get any better than this? If you step out and you are grumpy and cranky, it's like, no, I'm not letting this go through the rest of my day. I'm going to give myself 10 seconds or even a minute if I'm being really indulgent with being cranky and whatever. I'm like, no, not my reality. I'm choosing.
I even do 10 minutes sometime. It's like, you know what, if I'm going to be cranky, I was like, I'm going to do it well. If I'm going to be angry at something, I'm going to like, yeah, let's enjoy this. And that's the thing. Why would you not enjoy it? If you're going to choose anger, freaking enjoy it. And then know you can choose to change it. If you're going to do sad and morose, it's like, do sad and morose, but do it well. Like, suck the energy from everyone over the entirety of the world so that, you know, you pull them into your trauma and drama and then change it. You know, it's just a choice. Everything is just a choice. But here's the thing about Access, which I love too. It's like not about making you wrong. It's like asking questions like, how does it get any better than this? One of Viv's favorite tools, and choosing to know that you can actually create something different.
And so,
go ahead.
Just even that possibility that there's a different choice, you know, if you're constantly thinking that you have no choice, you know, like I said before, the people that think that life is just like this, it's like you choose everything. Every choice you make will create something in your world. And even inserting that as a possibility into people's worlds can be like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm choosing this? What do you mean that I can choose something else? But, you know, us smiling at somebody or choosing to create more happiness in the world, or, you know, wearing a hat, you never know how those little seeds of possibilities can actually trigger something in somebody's world. The story you told about the lady with the fridge magnets, Simone, too. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I know. So one of the designs that I had was, imagine what you'd do if you knew you couldn't fail, with good vibes for you. And you know, shorten the story a bit here, but this lady rings me and she says, "Hey, are you the founder and creator of Good Vibes for You?" Too many companies of Good Vibes for You. And I said yes. And she said, "You know what? I want to thank you." She said, "I've been married for it was something like 10 years. And she had like 8 or 9 kids, like something that she'd just been pumping out these kids every year. And she said, a friend of mine gave me your magnet, your fridge magnet. And I've had it on my fridge. And every day I've read it. Imagine what you'd do if you knew you couldn't fail." She said, "I've read it every day. And I want you to know that for years I've woken up crying. My husband's been beating me up. But I thought that that's what life was." And she said, "And every day I read your magnet." And she said, "And I want you to know I've left my husband. I'm in a new house and I have my kids." And she said, "And I'm waking up happy." And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Because so many people look at their businesses also as, you know, the money in the bank account is how successful you are. No, it's not. It's the person you smile at in the street. It's like, if you create a change, like you said, it's like any one of those changes you create, any question you ask, that just you being you creates a change in the world. So to me, I was like, wow, that whole entire business was a success based on that one lady. And that's one lady I knew about.
Yeah.
You just telling that story. I'm vouching that was probably one of my stickers, like, because you lived in the Sunshine Coast and it was magic too.
No doubt it was one of your stickers. And it just, you know, it puts you into the question, which is the other thing I love about Access. It's like, you know, Gary says, don't trust me, trust you. How do you get to know what's true for you? You ask a question, and whatever lightens up for you, you start to find that space where you know what's true for you. Because so many people love to tell you, and, you know, this is my doctrine that you have to live by, and these are my rules and regulations, and this is the good and bad, and you should and shouldn't, rather than, hang on, what actually fits for me? It's like Goldilocks and the 3 bears. Which choice works for me?
Yeah. What do you know? Like, what do you know?
Yeah.
So, Viv, what have you, I know that I'm just going to put your website down here below so people can go, well, you can go find Viv on accessconsciousness.com, of course, the main Access website, but also down below here, she's got vivadcock.com. Now, you've also got a clinic in Noosa.
Yes.
Yep. So you're doing bars from there, doing sessions, etc., a whole bunch of stuff. And you've got a class coming up starting when?
Saturday. I've got a foundation class on Saturday and a bars class on Thursday. And what else is possible for you guys out there? You know, I love the fact that we have so much choice. Like I said earlier, there isn't a topic that isn't covered in Access, whether it's children, animals, family, relationships, sex, money, bodies, take your pick. There's so much choice.
And can I say, you're like, I mean, am I allowed to say you're one of my favorite facilitators? I think that you have such a way of being really present with people on what is and not aligning and agreeing or resisting and reacting to anything or trying to make people get a point of view that you've decided is right. You don't do that. You actually facilitate from this space of, hey, what's possible for you? So thank you for being that, Viv, in the world. And I highly recommend anyone, you know, coming along to your class, etc., and go check it out at Viv Adcock, vivadcock.com. Easy for me to say. And also accessconsciousness.com too.
Yeah, thank
so
you.
Anything else you want to leave the people with here? Any other last tool or something you want to say?
Just keep being you. And what if you're not as, can I swear?
Yeah, go for it. I don't care.
What if you're not as fucked up as you think you are? That is like probably joint first favorite. You know, on first position is what if you're not as fucked up as you think you are? Because that was in the Money book. Just to tell a very quick story from the Money book. When I first read that, the two tools that really stood out to me was when Gary talked about human and humanoid, the difference, and that we're not wrong, and that if you don't feel like you fit in, if you feel like you're the odd one out, if you feel like I can never get it right and you judge yourself, then that book, or even pretty much every book in Access now, just opens the door for you to realize you're different. Doesn't mean you're right, doesn't mean you're wrong, you're just different. And the other tool was, God, now I've had a complete brain fart and forgotten what I was going to say. You're not as fucked up as you think you are. I've totally lost the second tool.
Well, you just mentioned humanoid too. So I'm just going to add that on 28th of this month, I'm actually doing a one-off class with Dr. Dane here on, are you human or humanoid? Because, you know, one of the things we talk about is what if there was two species on the planet? And it's like, so if you want to find out more about that, check it out, accessconsciousness.com.
And that, so reading just that, I remember sobbing my eyes out, and I don't cry very easily. I remember sobbing my eyes out reading this book going, oh my God, he's written this book just for me. This is everywhere that I thought I was wrong, that I didn't fit in, that there was something inherently, oh my God, you know, I came down the wrong chute or something, you know.
I don't fit, yeah.
It gave me permission to just actually start to like myself and relax into being who I am. And I remember flying home after the first level term 3, which is now the choice of possibilities. I remember coming home, and for about 3 weeks afterwards, I just, you know, I'm actually pretty cool. I'm beginning to really enjoy my own company. And now I can actually, Gary asked me one question in that class that just took my world and totally turned it upside down, as he does. And it was, what if you would see you through somebody else's eyes? He said, pick 2 clients. And I actually picked Tim and Tanya Bothams, who are, you know, dear friends of ours. And I looked at me through their eyes, and I just really gently started to cry. And I'm like, shit, is that me? Is that how people see me? Because it was the total opposite of how I'd been living in this, you know, my own distorted sense of purgatory in between my eyes, going, oh, I'm wrong, or there's something wrong with me, rather than, no, what's right about you that you're not getting? What's the gift that you bring? You know, and for me, Access is this everyday exploration and discovery and adventure, is getting to receive me in a totally different way. And that never finishes. It never stops. What a cool adventure.
No, how does it get any better than this? Questions. So Viv, thank you so much for joining me here on this rapid fire. That wasn't so much rapid fire, but that's okay, because we just follow the energy, because that's what we do. And have so much fun at your class.
I will. Thank you, Simone. You are a constant inspiration to me. I adore you.
Thank you. Goodbye. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.